In this video, we're going to be reviewing the Kimber K6S DASA in 3-inch. A little bit of history about Kimber. Kimber has been making arms and handguns since around 1979. They're typically well known for their 1911. So if you go into a lot of gun stores, you're going to see probably quite a few 1911s with the name Kimber on them. They tend to be moderately priced, and some in the lower range, some higher range. There has been some inconsistent quality issues around Kimbers, maybe over the past 10 to 15 years. However, I've owned, for example, a custom TLE2 that I bought and reviewed on this channel over 20 years ago, and it's arguably one of my most reliable 1911s I've ever had. However, I've also had and fired other 1911s that have had some quality issues around Kimber, so that has tarnished their name just a little bit within some people in the shooting community. But what we're going to be doing today is reviewing their revolver lines, and this is a revolver line that they came out with around 2016, and the K6S now is the lightest small frame 6-round 357 Magnum revolver currently on the marketplace today. And if you see my videos in the past, you'll know that I really like 3-inch revolvers. They're just perfect for all-around use, and that's what I've had them for a long time. So some of the things about looking at the features, things I like, the first thing is they come with some really nice sights. In this case, there's 3 white dot sights. Of course, I usually color over the front sight with a blaze orange just to make it stand out. But again, it's a front pin sight you can remove, as well as a dovetailed rear sight that you can float and remove as well. But again, high quality sights. I haven't had to do anything with them. They were perfect right out of the box. It also comes with a brushed stainless steel finish. So again, this is one of the really nice features of the gun. It is a 357 Magnum, which means it also can fire 38 specials. And when it comes in the box, it comes with these nice walnut grips, and these have kind of a diamond checkering on them as well. I did change that out, which I'll talk about in a moment. Another thing you're going to notice with the gun is it also has a large hammer spur. So, which is pretty interesting compared to, for example, a lot of the Smith & Wessons I have. It's just very easy, and it's kind of rounded with some nice checkering on there. So again, nice feature. The fit and finish on this handgun are excellent. I can't talk about anything better. The timing, everything about the gun is just perfect. And then another feature about this, which you don't commonly see in a lot of handguns, is the counterbore cylinder. So in this case, the case rims are recessed into the cylinder. So when you put rounds into the cylinder, they're actually flush with the cylinder as opposed to sitting on top of the cylinder like you see with a lot of Smith & Wessons and some things of that nature. So that certainly adds to the cost as well as the quality of the handgun. So what are some of the cons of the gun? Well, the first thing is it is a 357 Magnum, and it's pretty stout when you fire 357 Magnums out of a lighter weight handgun. So it's simple physics. The heavier the handgun, the less the felt recoil. But in this case, for example, if the trade-offs between having a lighter weight 357 is it can be pretty stout when you fire it. That's why you're going to see in a lot of my videos where I have revolvers, I typically have Hogue grips on all of my revolvers for that reason. Now, it's too bad because I really do like the looks of the grips that come with the gun, and most handguns for that matter. When they have wood grips, they just look really nice on a revolver. And if I didn't have to fire the gun and just carry it and looking at it, yeah, these would look great. But the reality is I like firing the revolvers that I have, and therefore I tend to switch out my grips too. In this case, like the Hogue Bantam is a set of grips that I put on here which fit absolutely perfect and really give me a nice purchase on the gun. So it's small enough to not really print that hard, but again, I have average size hands that fits just really well. And this allows me to very comfortably and accurately shoot 357 Magnum rounds out of here, as opposed to when I typically shot a grip like this. And again, I don't have quite the purchase I do with the Hogues, but also it just wasn't that comfortable to fire out of them, which of course, as you guys know, really can impact your accuracy. Some of the other cons with the gun is it's just really expensive. If you look at the cost of these online, these are some of the most expensive 357 Magnums on the market today. So you're going to look at that and say, wow, that's a lot of money for a 357 Magnum. But yes, there's also a quality aspect to this as well, which Kimber has incorporated in here. As we alluded to, it's a 357 Magnum that can shoot 38 specials. It has a pinned cylinder release as opposed to a slide release that you would typically see on a Smith & Wesson, etc. So this is typically more in line with what you're going to find on a Kimber. The trigger pull is really, really nice. So one of the other quality benefits, again, these are all unloaded I check them before the videos come on. The action on the handgun is excellent. Now, my trigger pull with my Lyman gauge for a double action trigger pull comes in around 8.9 pounds for double action. And then my single action pull is a perfect 2.2 pounds. It is a really, really smooth, excellent trigger. And again, that's one of the things you're paying for when you spend that kind of money to get a handgun like this. Now, as far as ergonomics and weight, just to look at some of the comparisons here, since again it is the lightest weight 6-shot 357 revolver in the marketplace, how does it weigh? So in this case, it comes in around 1 pound 9.5 ounces. So let's compare that, for example, to my Smith 365, which again is a 3-inch model 6-shot 357 Magnum. This comes in at 1 pound 15.5 ounces. And then let's take that to the other extreme, which is a Smith J-frame 5-shot with a 2-inch barrel, comes in at 1 pound 6 ounces. So you can see where the weight loss, or you can see the difference in the weight. So it literally sits weight-wise in between, for example, the 65 as well as the J-frame 2-inch Smith & Wesson revolver. So the weight is noticeable. The other thing you're going to notice is in the cylinder cuts, the cylinder circumference of the cylinder is actually less than you would typically see on a Smith & Wesson 6-shot revolver. So if you compare them side by side, you can see the differences. So literally, the rim of each one of the rounds sits right next to each other in the cylinder, and this basically creates a slimmer profile when you're carrying the handgun. So just for comparison, if I take a gauge on the width of the cylinder and put it up to a 5-shot Smith & Wesson, it's only marginally larger, but it's actually very similar. And it's certainly smaller than a standard Smith & Wesson. You can see the difference there. So that's one of the benefits as well, is not only did they cut out some of the weight, they did that by tightening up the shells in the cylinder, making it slimmer to carry and easier to operate. So takedown and cleaning, it's a typical revolver. So revolvers get dirty when you fire them, etc. It's just how they operate. But again, one of the reasons why people love revolvers are they're 100% reliable if you have the right ammunition in them. So that's one of the great things about them. As far as options, Kimber currently offers these in the 2- and 4-inch barrel variants as well. So you can get shorter barrel, longer barrels. You can have exposed as well as covered hammer models, etc. So if you're one of those pocket carry people who like to hide the hammer, they have that option as well. And as I alluded to earlier, one of my favorite things to do to my revolvers is to add the Hogue grips, in this case the Hogue Bantam grips, which again adds so much value to these as well. As far as accuracy, this is an extremely accurate handgun. A lot of it has to do with the action, the feel in the hand, etc. Again, I can shoot as tight a groups as I can with this as I can out of any of my 65s, etc. And in some cases, because of the sights, I can actually do better target acquisition quicker. So again, I really, really like this highly accurate handgun. So what are some of the alternatives that are out there? Well, Smith & Wesson, as we talked about before, they're very famous for their smaller versions, like their J-frames, their 5-shot versions, which we just showed a moment ago. Rossi just recently came out with a RP63, which basically is a lower price, half the price of the Kimber. And again, it's a 3-inch model, 6-inch, etc. Taurus has models out there. Colt, for example, their Python, King Cobras all come in around 3 inches as well. So they're realizing where in the marketplace people really like 3-inch revolvers, and they're starting to make more and more of them to compete with the Kimber. So as far as utility, what you would use this for, this is a really great carry handgun, whether it be concealed carry, outdoor carry, etc. Again, all that weight difference, even if it's slight, could be a big difference when you're carrying, and especially if you want to carry something that has the ability to shoot a stout 357 low, which usually is something that you want in outdoor situations. So again, it gives you the ability to have a lighter weight gun that you can shoot controllably with 357 caliber load. So again, I think for outdoor usage as well as people that like to concealed carry revolvers, this is really a great option. So overall, it is an expensive handgun, but it is a great handgun. And as far as, revolvers are concerned and the ones I've reviewed, this is arguably one of the best revolvers I've ever reviewed or ever fired. I really like it. To me, it's on par with a lot of my old Smiths before the 2001 changes, etc. Again, they're just great handguns, but again, it gives you just a little bit smaller profile. Again, it doesn't cut any corners as far as ways to keep the cost down. Because of that, you end up paying for the value of it, but this is something that you would own and probably hand down from generation to generation. It's just that good of a quality handgun and something that I absolutely love. So as far as value is concerned, it's probably the most expensive 6-shot 357 Magnum you're going to probably buy on the marketplace today, but is the value there? And in my opinion, it is. If you like this video or you like our channel, please subscribe on YouTube, and thanks for watching.